Alright, so I've watched a frankly embarrassing amount of anime at this point. Like, if I took all the flipping hours of anime at this point that I've watched, like, if I took all the hours I spent watching shonen protagonists scream their lungs out and use them for something useful, I could probably speak 5 languages or have a six-pack. But instead, here I am, who still gets way too invested in animated short fights. But here's the thing, I've never actually read a manga, and I don't want to set you guys off, but it is kind of because of the fan base. I've seen the fan base crash out a bit too many times with a manga, and I've always kind of thought of it as overrated. You can have read comic books, and they can be better than the actual movie adaptations. I've always thought of manga as kind of overrated. I know the JJK animation is gonna be better than fucking the manga because it's just peak, but I've never actually read one, which, considering the amount of anime I've consumed, is a bit ridiculous. So it's like claiming you're a massive Marvel fan, but you've never picked up a single comic. Speaking of which, I have actually read comics before, plenty of them. Spider-Man, Batman, even the weird shit like Hellboy. So I do know how to read, despite my old English teachers might have thought, but manga, that's a whole different thing, and I feel like I'm missing out, you know what I mean? So today, I'm finally fixing it up. I'm gonna figure out what my first manga should be, ramble about some options, and probably chat some shit along the way. Let's get into it. Now, some of you might just be wondering in your little brain dead heads, why even bother with manga? Well, that's a question I've been asking for a very long time, but I've come to my conclusion. Well, the anime does exist, and honestly, fair question, anime has flashy animation, voice acting, soundtracks that makes you feel like you're about to storm a castle, so I downgrade to black and white pages. Well, turns out anime adaptations aren't always perfect, you know. Shocking, I know. Sometimes they take a massive creative liberties, like Tokyo Ghoul. Sometimes they get butchered by budget. Berserk, 2016, the modern adaptation. And sometimes they just take so flippin' long to come out that you start questioning your life choices. Like the 1,000-year blood war that took flippin' ages to come out. Anyway. Plus, manga usually gets the full story without any filler, no random beach episodes, no pointless recaps, and no weirdly long pauses and fights for no reason, where everyone stands around explaining their tragic backstory while their opponents pointlessly wait for them to finish, even though they get his attack. So yeah, I think it's about time to give it a shot. The question is, what the fuck do I start with? Right. Digging. So I did some digging, looked at some recommendations through like Google and Safari and shit. Picking up my first manga is way harder than it should be. There are too many fucking options. Like Bleach, obviously, that's my favorite anime. So, considering my favorite anime, I've obviously wanted to read the manga for ages, but Ichigo is a fucking legend. The fights are sick, and the art looks incredible, but I've already watched the anime, so is it really worth reading, or am I just going to be re-experiencing the same thing with like the epic soundtracks in Bleach? Berserk. No. Berserk. Now this one gets called a masterpiece by basically everyone who's ever had a fucking hand on it before. The art is insane, the story is brutal, and it's one of those stories that people say changes your life, but also looks like the kind of thing that will emotionally wreck me, and I'm not sure if I want to go through it. One Piece. Look, I respect the hell out of One Piece. It's an absolute juggernaut. Let's be real here. It's in the big three. I don't have the time or the patience to read over 1,000 chapters. I might start it now, but I'll finish when I'm 85 or something like that, mate.
Right, AOT.
The anime is already incredible, absolutely peak, maybe even the best anime I've ever watched. but people say the manga is even better, especially with all the little details that gets left out. That being said, I've heard the ending is really controversial, and I really want to go through all that potentially disappointment. Vagabond. This is a mature manga, also like Berserk. This one looks like pure, absolute, amazing masterpiece, Picasso-looking art. Fresh out fucking art from Paris. It's about a samurai philosophy, insane fights. It sounds sick, but I feel like this is the kind of manga you read when you want to feel like an intellectual, and I'm just here for a good time, you know what I mean? Now, Tokyo Ghoul. Now, this one has my attention. The anime was, well, a bit of a disaster adaptation-wise. Well, the first season was amazeballs in my opinion. I did love the first season. But then... what happened? And I'm not entirely sure what I watched, but everyone says the manga is miles better, and for what I've seen, the story is actually told properly, dark, psychological, and violent. It ticks a lot of boxes in my box anyway, and in Tokyo Ghoul RE, it was not gonna lie, it was shit. So I hope the manga's better because I want to read both. Might just get a box set or something like that, but I don't know yet. Well, this is my second ever video. I'm gonna delete my first one, so this is my first ever video actually. So after overthinking it way too much, this video is getting to my end. I think I've made my choice, but if you guys see this video, please leave your recommendations in the comments. As much as I'd love to dive into something completely new, I feel like the experience Tokyo Ghoul properly. I already know I like the concept, and I want to see the actual story the way it was meant to be told, rather than whatever the fuck happened in the anime adaptation. So yeah, I'm on a cell reading Tokyo Ghoul. That was it all.